the higher speed level will definitely be interesting to see for these two. Orin coming off his loss with Vice, so hopefully he can make up for that right here.
Omio being his first time on the stream right now, we get to see a whole new different play style from him. And like I mentioned before, he is a pretty old veteran of just the Discord in general. I know a lot of people have been playing the series for years, but he's been around the panel attack scene for a while. Not really the most active, but he definitely has had some experience here, whereas this is Scott's first tournament, and so far that's showing right now. He had like a lot of...
taking the first round.
Yeah, he had a lot of separated pressure there at the beginning, and it happened to be really, really quick there on Scott, and then just a little bit trickled there at the end, and Scott wasn't able to react to survive longer.
Omio definitely got that one really quickly.
Now we had Omio taking a little bit easy, waiting to see what Scott can do. That's something I can find myself doing from time to time, but I gotta say, you should never let up on your pressure, even if you think your opponent is going to die pretty quickly.
Because all it takes is one moment, and your opponent could be cleared off.
And plus, since all of Omio's pressure was just small garbage blocks, Scott with one clear was able to take that all away, and now he's going to do the same with this top half. So you got to be consistent with it, and Omio finds himself low on panels, so he's either going to have to raise his stack or try to find something in the little amount that he has. But now Scott tacking on a pretty decent amount of pressure.
Yeah, and one thing I'd like to mention about raising your stack, a lot of people don't do it sometimes. They just clear off garbage that they have when they don't really have a whole lot. Sometimes it's a lot better, instead of just to clear off the garbage, to actually go and raise your stack so that you have more options available to you, because losing all that pressure and see he's fiddling with the panels, it can really make a difference to having those extra options available to you. But at the same time, you guys have probably seen me, there is such a thing as raising your stack way too high. And you all have seen me constantly raise my stack all the way to the top. And sometimes it bites me straight in the butt.
It'll get the best of
Orrin's
everyone.
top it off here. I will honestly admit that my gameplay is very aggressive, but it also can bite me in the ass just as fast.
Yeah, it's something you gotta find the perfect balance of, because I feel like it's one or the other people will struggle with, is being too aggressive or not being aggressive enough. And really, even for the top master players, even they struggle with that from time to time.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're a master player and you can't say that you don't struggle with that, I mean, I'd be concerned.
Scott had all the pressure on his side, converted all that garbage. He was doing really, really good with the garbage clears that entire round, and finally got Omio topped off, and he wasn't able to make a clear that time, so ends up being a tie game right now. This is I would say Omio gets a lot better pressure setups with no garbage on his screen, but Scott definitely has the survival game on his hand, and he's able to get those big chains coming off of the garbage blocks.
Yeah, and I will definitely say it looks like from what I'm seeing, it looks like Orin survival game is kind of in a bit of a hit because he likes to fiddle with the panels a lot. At least that's what I'm seeing, because he was constantly switching back and forth, not knowing, you know, what to do. But Scott definitely has the survival game, and he's able to counterattack pretty good. He's getting topped off here.
Another scary moment for him that he was able to evade, and look at this. This is the one opening
He's
he
able
needs.
to counter, like I was saying. And this really decides it.
Yeah, Scott, he's just doing really, really well with the pressure that's being sent on his side, and he's able to make a very, very good rebuttal each time to Omio. So, as long as he's able to survive, he should be able to come on top of this match, but I guess we'll have to see how Omio reacts later on. These guys are going to be switching sides for this next round, so Scott's going to be on the left, and Omio's going to be on the right now.
Every time I look at these battles, it kind of reminds me of a courtroom where it's always back and forth.
That's an interesting way to look at it, actually.
It kind of is if you think about it, with the way the game is set up. Especially if you're thinking about Phoenix Wright, if you've ever played those.
Looks like we'll need a Phoenix Wright custom set maybe in this game, and then you can live out your full dream here.
I don't think that'll be necessary, but if you want, I won't stop you. We could have like objections or rebuttals. But let's get back to the match here.
Yeah. One thing I'm going to point out that Scott mentioned in chat, actually, we have this happen every once in a while on stream. You'll notice, like, when the players' sides do switch, and a lot of times during these tournaments, we don't know if it's just server overload sometimes or just like ping issues, but that's the reason why they switch sides is the server crashes, and then what determines on the replays whoever's on the left and the right is who made the room, like who invited who. But yeah, as I was explaining that, I believe Omio took that round.
I think so.
Yeah, I saw Scott. He was getting pretty well pressured, and he wasn't able to find the clear immediately like he did in the past couple of games. So that's what's going to be this tug of war this entire set, man. Because Omio, I feel like, is always going to be in the advantageous spot at the beginning. He just finds chains a little bit more smoother with a lot of open panels. So.
But I will say, in my personal opinion, I think survivability is going to be the decisive factor who wins this. If Orrin sees it, yep, he's got in the second row, he had a clear to take advantage of. Taking advantage of those clears in the top row, looks like he got topped up again, and that was it.
Yeah, survivability will only get you so far because you got to have that pressure sent right back. And it looks like he was just struggling to do so for these past two games. So now the advantage back in Omio's favor, but Scott can definitely make this comeback right now.
In the lower ranks, survivability is definitely important. Once you have that mastered, pressure becomes more a factor at a higher level. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Especially because, like, a lot of players will almost immediately die. And I'm not sure what Omio's doing right now. Does he think he has Scott topped off? I'm not too sure right now.
He should have been raising his stack. I mean, that stalling that he did there may cost him.
Yeah, or Scott pointed out maybe that was just a little bit of a taunt right now since the momentum's in his favor. Either way, it actually worked as Scott had to pull that panel all the way to the right, but on level 8, you're not going to have too much time to do it. So Omio winning 3 straight at the end. It's like Scott had the rebuttals early on, but I think Omio stepped up his pressure game just a little bit more at the beginning, and it was just too much for Scott to deal with there.
Definitely, and we can definitely see that pressure plays a huge factor as well as survival.